There we go. Well now, guys, how are we? Oh man, this old office chair of mine fits as good and as comfortable as one I've ever had. This is my gear room, and it is an absolute disaster. I was prompted to maybe put out a little something about my gear room, my little dedicated small secondary bedroom, which is nothing but gear. After seeing my mentor, as far as having been motivated to start doing YouTube videos, one Dave Parsons of Really Big Monkey 1, as a numeral 1. A lot of you, I'm sure, know of him. If you don't, he is so worth taking a first look at. That's YouTube channel Really Big Monkey 1. Dave is outstanding. He did a video review of his gear room that has been clamored for by his old-time original subs like myself and so many others for years now. And so he finally did it, and I was impressed. I could see why he delayed doing it for a while, but he really got it together pretty good. So I've got the same issue. I bought some extra shelves to line the hallways of the house with, and tear into stuff and start putting labels on canisters, old Nestle Quick canisters, and a number of other such items, and try to get things organized and, you know, in their uniform containers. I've been having a gas, been out of the scene for a while. Many of you know that follow me on Instagram that my sister Julie came up to visit with me. That's something that we started 2 years ago, and we do it annually now for 2 weeks. And she lives in a group home up in Salem, so it's a real special time. She gets to go up to see Mom in Portland, you know, about 2 weeks every couple of months or so, and I can't always make it when she's up there. I try, but sometimes I'm hundreds of kilometers elsewhere. So it was great having her with me, and the Instagram pictures that are still coming, they show a lot. You can just see a lot of delight and a lot of heart tickle between the two of us. It was nice. I took her up to areas where there was just absolutely total, true dark sky. Gorgeous. And one of the motivating factors for me being out there, I got a big thing for the sky. I'm an amateur astronomer. I've got an 8-inch reflector Starhawk telescope on a clock drive mount, and yeah, I'm really into amateur astronomy. You wouldn't guess it from my Instagram page because it's so diversified. I've got a lot of diversified work on Instagram. Little snippets of many aspects of my life, but all basically related around the fact that, quite honestly, I prefer to live out there and just visit here. Every family member I have lives in Portland, and I'm on the south central Oregon coast near the biggest industrial complex for the coast, being Coos Bay, Oregon. I live a good number of miles away from that. It doesn't take too far to head out of town. My little town, Lakeside, is just a little hole-in-the-wall place, and get up in the mountains and have, you know, actually true dark sky. Oregon is fortunate. It has what we call fingers of true dark sky here. So when you go camping and you're looking up at the stars and they're just like that big around, and I swear, especially up at Diamond Lake, you feel like you can just reach up and touch them. They're just there, and they're large, and they're completely filled. The stars are so full in the sky that it's hard to make out the constellations. Well, I had my little sister. I exposed her to some things she'd never been exposed to in her life at all. Looking up and identifying a couple of constellations and the significance that that has in land navigation and knowing where you are at night. Quite frankly, I really have often felt more comfortable looking up at the night sky and reorientating myself as to the area I had left camp at. Look around, everything's the same, it's black, it's night, no chance of knowing your way back. You look up at the heavens, know exactly where you're at. So I just think that people ought to give a little bit more credence to that and take a look at celestial navigation. I'm a sailor, but I'm not talking about, you know, celestial navigation to that point, just the basic constellations and cross-referencing them and checking your time of day and night, where you're at in the hemisphere, and you can figure out just about where you are pretty close to what a GPS can do if you're good with it. So my equipment, well, I used to be a bow hunter, still am a bow hunter, but I don't go after the big game with bows anymore. I like to shoot rabbits on the fly. I take a boat out to Government Island on the Columbia River, and the rabbits there are prolific and use a hard rubber-tipped type of arrow. This compound bow here, I'm going to set it over here. And that is a lot of fun. If you take and you practice bow hunting by using these tapered, hard rubber-ended arrows, and you go rabbit hunting, what you get up around the bristles, they see you coming before you ever get to the top of the rise, and they're scampering. You might see a white bunny tail going right into the thicket just as you get there. So, you know, if you knock those babies dead on the fly while you're walking and stuff, then you know you're really sharpening up your skills for elk hunting. Now, I used to do a great deal of deer hunting. I was a prolific deer hunter. Before I realized it was illegal, I actually had 5 deer hanging in my garage at one time, and that's while I was working as a corrections officer. I'm retired now, so I'll confess. And the thing was, I had, you know, buddies of mine that had suffered injuries. It wasn't uncommon at all with the combat issues we had with inmates at times and holding order down, that some of my colleagues would be very badly injured. Very badly injured. And so, you know, they need to put some meat on the table, and I had a real fortunate situation where in Pelton we have a major ranch concern called Wolf Ranch Incorporated. They started in Pelton, they moved out to Wallowa Mountains. They had a huge spread up there, and they maintained the Pelton property. They would truck their cattle back and forth seasonally. So their place up there was on top of a knoll overlooking a cliff. And I had 7 miles by 7 miles by 7 miles by 7 miles of master key gates in the primest hunting country probably in all of America, and that's Eastern Oregon. And the rifle of choice for that was the one that my grandfather gave to me when he raised me. And he was a gunsmith and a master woodworker. He also painted ships during World War I and was a rifleman. He had far sight. He had a far-sighted condition with his eyes, and so they put him up on the top of a ammo truck, and this is World War I, and turn off the lights, and he'd tell the driver, ease to the left, ease to the right, and they're one of the trucks that had a lot less likelihood of getting blown up. Those were the targets then. That were the ammo trucks. That was the big score. So yeah, my grandfather was my hero. I was a handful for my mom, and she very wisely let my grandfather have complete, absolute authority over my life. And I might have occasionally pulled some stuff on my dad when he was at work. You might find out about later, and I just claimed I was innocent. I never tried to pull any of that crap on my grandpa. No sir. So I was raised in the outdoors, outdoor activities, most all my life. That's why I have a strong preference for being out there for as much as possible. I'm a dude that, you know, takes extended trips, and I've decided to, at an age now where I've learned enough about some of the fantastic jewels located throughout the Pacific Northwest, that I've stumbled upon, you know, doing the type of off-trail activities that I personally enjoy. And I thought it was time that maybe I started sharing this type of thing. So I've invested in a Sony action cam that's a rather spending complex, really. I'm learning that. I'm also discovered some new resources for teaching me how to better edit and this type of thing. So I see things coming together. I see stuff coming together and it getting better. And I want to convey that to you. I want to convey that at least I'm feeling confident that we're going to see some pretty good videos. Interesting. I may not have the flashy flair for, you know, editing that a lot of my really great friends out there that are creators do have. And they are good friends too. You know, Oregon Mike, H, you got Oregon Mike without the H. You've got Matt Cook, Oregon. Matt Cook, Oregon. Excellent. You got Coyote Works in Central Oregon. Quite a team of creators out here. Good guys. Really good guys. And then, like I say, for myself personally, my mentor that kind of kicked me off as far as YouTube was concerned was really Big Monkey 1. Strongly encourage people to take a look at Dave Parsons' video. He is so entertaining. And then I want to give a shout out to another individual that has given me a great deal of solace and respect, and a feeling of a capability that there's just about limitless things we can do. Just such admiration, you know, such admiration for him. I'm settled in my lifestyle and what I want to do, how I want to do it, when, how I plan to finance it, and all that type of thing. But everybody that would listen to his channel will always reap rewards, and that is my friend Sean James at My Self-Reliance. If you haven't seen that, you are missing one of the finest channels on all of YouTube. So, and I'll repeat that for you. It's Sean James. Channel name is My Self-Reliance. Guy gives insight into personal life, living a self-reliant lifestyle, independent wealth. The list goes on. Right now he's doing a series on mushroom identification and taking a course on that, and doing it with his wife. It's going to be a really interesting video. It's just come out. I'm looking forward to checking out. So anyway, enough about some of the people that I admire so greatly, and I'll show you a few things here. This is just, and I intended it to be a short video and just show you a few things. I have a lot of the stereotypical, you know, bushcraft stuff because I dig it. I've got the Boreal 21 saw right here. The thing that's great about this is that carry the extra blades inside. So it's got blades in here for, you know, cutting up bone as necessary and preparing an elk for field dressing. Marvelous, fantastic design they had on this. I was just so impressed about this. Actually, the first time I saw this saw was when it was presented by Joe Robinette. That baby, I'll tell you what, man, this thing slices through some wood. I got some posts on my Instagram that just show this thing just going to town. Who needs a chainsaw? And then the way it pops open, folds back, locks back up again, protecting the blade within the cover. I mean, this is just outright ingenious. It really is. Super ingenious. Snap together like that, and there you go. In the cover, and down into the pack, and you're off. And then in this section here is what I wanted to point out. I thought it was kind of interesting. There's a flap in there, and I've got 3 other blades in there for green wood, dry wood, and for bone, for processing game. So these Algonquin Canyon Boreal 21 saws they're the cat's meow. I had a friend in Canada that did some work for me on having a collar and a sheath put on my Gransford Brooks small forest axe, and it was absolutely beautiful work. Now, the problem was that this particular model is the Ray Mears edition, so apparently it is a little bit larger axe than the standard Gransford Brooks small forest axe. That's something for us to be aware of. I wanted to share with the community. So unfortunately, that really outstanding work he did for me, and I sent payment to him for, I wasn't able to use it. And through no fault of his, through no fault of mine, it was just one of these rare and unusual situations. So we always wonder, you know, when we go to a cottage provider or to an artisan, what if something goes wrong? I mean, the shipping to Canada is outrageous. It cost me $50 each way. And, you know, I can't ask him to bear the brunt of any of that at all. It's ridiculous. So what he did was he picked up a Gransford Brooks forest axe himself and made a beautiful pattern with it, put together. Well, just check it out. It's linked to my channel, and it's absolutely gorgeous. One of the finest work I've ever seen. And he filmed the whole thing as well. So then I had commissioned him to make a collar for it. The collar was so beautiful and so much better than what comes with the axe. This is an outstanding axe. It's just perfect for bushcraft. And he threw in the sheath to match it. So at no additional cost to me. Now, when I had to send this back, I told him, I says, please keep the cost of your shipping and sending it to me and refund me the difference. At which he was exceedingly happy and obliged to do. These are the kinds of points that are really important to share in the community. I will take and put a link to his channel. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it right now. I'm just really tired. I've had a big day. I did some volunteer work at the fire department. I've been involved in civic affairs big time. You guys heard a little bit about that. Let me announce. I won't go into details to it because it'll make the video too long, and it's not going to be anything that a lot of people are going to be interested in, but there is graft and corruption in small town government. We all know that. And I've had my fill of it. So I've declared war. And I've been talking to people at city council meetings. I've been bringing evidence in. citing laws and regulations on the state and federal level that are to help guide small cities and the policies they make for everything from city council decisions to especially planning commission decisions. And it's gone really well. There was so much heat generated indirectly by my efforts that last night's meeting resulted in the police being called, and that's not a customary thing here. So we had people who were really irate, and the Graft and Corruption up there was such that they were going to go ahead and pass that through no matter what. We lost 2 of them. They let these, and what I'm talking about is conditional use permits, where they bring in trailers, and you know, trailers are recreational vehicles. They're designated for temporary stay for vacationing, and we have rolling meth labs, and we have low-lifes like you wouldn't believe coming in, using this for permanent housing, parking out in front of their buddies' places, sticking out in the street, and hooking up sewers and extending the lines to the house. And it's just absolutely outrageous. And you know, so I just said, that's enough. That's enough. So 2 of them went through. 1 I got delayed, and the 3rd one I won. And I can certainly sense that I'm just going to get a lot better in local politics. I don't have an interest in it, really. I have a mission. I want to make transparency. I want to make laws nailed down. I want no loopholes left in our city ordinances. I want to tighten them up into a Canadian jam knot. And once those goals are accomplished, then I'm out of there. My life is outside. It's not in council chambers. The couple other pieces of tools I have here. Speaking of crime in the area, this is a Mossberg. Oh, let's take a look at the police property tag, shall we? It's a Mossberg 596, and this baby is it's the primary weapon used with the Oregon State Department of Corrections, and that's my baby. As familiar with this as I am an M16 in my Army days, and it's got a chic on here. It's really, really great because it's got belt buckle for your belt, and then of course a sharpening stone that's built in. Wire cutter, a fence cutter up above. That thing, I'm going to tell you what, it'll slice the marrow. It'll cut the marrow right through with just a wisp. It is as sharp as hell. And you know, if I have an issue with more of one of these characters around here, why they're gonna play hell trying to grab this. I'll use it for a pokey, and I'll use it for a smoky, as the situation may dictate. You know, I'd probably get myself in hot water on YouTube for bringing up that point, but man, I'll tell you what, I'm old school, and I cannot stand criminals. I hate them with a purple passion. I've slammed them out here before, had them eaten with .40 caliber. Over here I got the good old Mora. The good old Mora Black Bushcraft. One of my favorite knives. One of my first knives. And I really like it. It's just, you can't beat these for the value. Some fat wood. Always got to have the fat wood. And I got some custom leather work here for that knife that I think is really beautiful. Done for me by a guy up in the high hills of Scotland. And the light's probably not that good for this right now, but it's really lovely. The orientation here is for Oregon Mike H, and it's Celtic. It's a Celtic type design. I've gotten this and a lot of other gifts from folks. This on my favorite T-shirt here. You know, Hike Oregon's just a fantastic resource, guys. If you ever come into Oregon and you want to get some resources on hiking in Oregon, go check out Hike Oregon. She's got a YouTube channel. She's got she has a website, and the resources there and the information there are just top notch. You come down here for a vacation, that is the place to go and turn a few pages on, take a look at. Very helpful gal. Has committed question and answer sessions twice a week. Just really outstanding. Fish net. Oh man, fishing gear. I love fishing. My waders back here. You know, I got on my Instagram page, not too far back in the history, you'll see I've got huge tables of yellowfin tuna. I just got fish stacked up in my freezer. It's such a blast. It's a little life risking, you know. I like that kind of stuff. I go out there and get pretty deep, and the waves are rolling in bigger than ever, and I cast for all my might, and I turn and I run. I run for my life, man. The big waves rolling in here on the Oregon coast, I'm telling you what. And got two hooks out there, and I'm dragging them back. You know, I got some film of that my buddy screwed up a little bit, but you know, it's just you're putting them over your shoulder and dragging them back. We had people coming down all over the place looking at it and wondering how in the heck we're doing that. We're using natural bait. That's how we're having such great success. It's all in the bait, type of bait you use, the time of day you use it, when they're feeding on those kind of animals. So sand crabs is what they are. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I love doing surf fishing. I love the freezing water of the ocean. You know, there's sometimes I fish without the waders because I just like the physical stimulation, that kind of stuff. And then these are pretty handy. You've probably seen Northeast Wilderness using a hatchet like this. I can't really call it a hatchet. It's a tomahawk's what it is. But that baby, oh man, is it ever sharp. Put this out to you here. And that really is a great tool. Super light and handy. Good grip from the paracord. It's just a really, really dandy tool. I highly recommend these. This is light. This go in your pack, nothing to it. And then lastly, I better start cutting this video a little short. I'm all over the place. I'm not in frame. I realize that. I just wanted to bring to your attention my experience with my backpack. I have a single man tent here sent to me by Bishop Rules on Instagram. Bishop's a cool guy, and he did me a great value and represented everything square. Gosh, we got a great community. We're really lucky to have the type of individuals that we do associated with us. Over time, become pretty good friends, and we can conduct this kind of business together and not have the least bit concern that if something comes up unexpected that neither party's going to do anything that's not honorable. I probably should close, and I'll tell you that this pack, I do have a major back problem. I was badly injured in healthcare, and this pack is amazing. This is the Osprey 65 liter anti-gravity pack. It transfers everything down to your hips. It's cool on your back. There's no strain. The amount of weight I can carry in there, I could never carry in any other apparatus or pack than this one. It is truly a dream come true for me. This stuff's pretty expensive, and you know, it's taken me 4 or 5 years to acquire it all. But my latest acquisition is this Sony camera that I've been speaking of to you folks. It's It's an action cam. It's ultra high definition. It's got image stabilization. It's going to be grand, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you some film on that. Fall is my favorite time of year, so I think that we'll be seeing some stuff coming down the pike here pretty soon. So, Ned Bushcrafter. This is the hotline, like the presidential phone, straight to England. Ned, what the heck you up to? Hello. Give him a call. It's good to have a ham radio like this, because the day's coming when you might want to have some emergency communications that you can cut through. That's 8 watts. It's a heck of a good radio, and you know, be hooked up with a few people that are like-minded for when the shit hits the fan. So we know it's all coming. There's no question about it. So listen, guys, thank you very much. There's more gear here than you know, I can identify or tell you where it's at. It's behind you, it's around you, it's underneath you, it's all over the place here. Plus, I got my Volkswagen bus loaded to the hilt. So, yeah, the closet behind you is stacked with nothing but primo outdoor clothing, and then the rest of the gear being outside as well. I know this doesn't look like much, but there's really a lot more gear in here than you'd believe. That tripod's sitting above an entire bunch of cook sets and cooking equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get organized and get ready to enjoy some of the fall. The colors in the Pacific Northwest with the trees changing. Oh my God, guys! Beautiful country, just beautiful. You out there, it's so much peace. It's so gorgeous, and it's kind of fun to put up with a little bit of Pacific Northwest rain. You know, practicing those skills a little bit. Being towards the edge a little bit of hypothermia, you know. These are good things to practice and do, and nature's so much different out there at that time of year. Fortunately, down south here, you know, I got a lot of friends up in Canada that are co-creators, and you know, for them it's pow. With the exception of Sean James, the tapes that the videos, I mean to say, he's releasing right now are showing that gradual seasonal change. He's in Ontario, and that's a series to take a peek at for sure. So I'll be taking you through the jewels that I've discovered, the hidden jewels of the great Pacific Northwest. My God, I won't go into detail about it, but right now, but you'll see just amazing pockets of secret locales that are just blow you away. So I look forward to taking you along with me. I mainly want to express my appreciation for those that have been tagging along this long with me. It's been a bit of transition that took a little bit longer than I thought, especially with the change in camera equipment, much more advanced, and a bit of a learning curve for me. At the same time, learning, you know, some editing skills as well, which probably won't be practiced on this particular video release at all. All right, guys. So God bless, and as always, rich blessings from the heart, from here at the Oregon coast, from Oregon Mike and the Cody Dog. Speaking of the Cody Dog, where are you? I'm very concerned about this silence. Cody Dog! Cody, come in here and say hello to your fans. Come on. Come here, buddy. Up, up. Up. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Dad loves you, man. Come on up here. Oh, you smell so good after your bath. Oh. I'm telling you, man, this dog, he knows. You recognize every smell, don't you? Yeah, he recognizes every smell. Terrific dog, guys. Terrific. We all have our favorites, but you know, if tragedy strikes you and you're recovering from a loss of a beloved animal, the best favor you can do for yourself is do what I did. I spent about 3 months researching the temperament, the habits, the training, the type of usage that these dogs have been used for, their breeding, their some of them, you know, different breeds definitely have a different temperament, but if you get the right kind of temperament and tendencies with a thoroughbred dog, you get them as a baby, you can develop those for specific application. It's just right for what you want to do. And Australian cattle dog makes an exceptional bush dog. Cody, you know, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it's just facts. Cody saved my life big time on 2 separate occasions. Some of you know the details of that. My novice error in going over 3 major waterfalls, him diving in without the least bit of hesitation. I got injured, and downriver to get out, the banks were a lot higher. This little guy put it in 5-wheel drive. I held on to him. I just barely made it back up out of there. It took me 4 extra days beyond my ration supplies to heal